Hi, I'm Sudie Scull, and good morning to all of you here. I'm both a marriage and family therapist, I live in Mill Valley, and a certified nutritionist. Given my dual mind-body orientations, I am constantly assessing my clients' symptoms from both standpoints, and therefore making both psychological, nutritional, and health interventions. Since the deployment of smart meters and increasing reliance and addiction to cell phones, there has been a steady increase in generalized anxiety disorder to the point where I can honestly say that 80% of my clients receive this diagnosis code. My clients' anxiety is not so much a matter of low self-esteem or past trauma, but more of a profound physical sensation of overwhelming pressure, stress, heart palpitations, insomnia, and even panic attacks. There's been an alarming national 28% increase in suicide from 1999 to 2016, and a 70% increase in young women. Much is rightly blamed on social media peer pressure, but I believe much more than that is going on. Electromagnetic radiation is toxic to biological life. Other practitioners and I have learned that EMF adversely affects our hormones, such as thyroid and progesterone, which directly correlates with mood disorders. Additionally, mood disorders can be a precursor to later onset illnesses, such as Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, Lou Gehr's, and even cancer. Lastly, I have practiced for almost 25 years, and in the last 2 years, I have had 5 clients with brain tumors, and 3 specifically with glioblastoma, which Senator John McCain, as we all know, sadly recently died from. In my previous years of practice, none of my clients have had brain tumors. A client with glioblastoma learned that I did not have a cell phone, and she stated emphatically, I would die without my cell phone. We are asking for an urgency ordinance for unincorporated Marin County. We want you to retain local control and existing character for existing neighborhoods. We need to stop 5G in its tracks now, and we really need your help. And thank you so much for what you've already done. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nahar. I live in Greenbrae. I've lived in Marin for about 30 years. I'm a therapist also. This rollout of 5G without us having an emergency ordinance is very dangerous to us. You're hearing from everybody, and hopefully you've read some information yourself about what is coming to Marin, but also to the world. This is not just an isolated situation. This is a worldwide situation of connecting the dots all over the world with wireless technology. And I don't have anything against wireless technology. I use it myself, but I am sensitive, so I have to have grounded computers. I don't put the phone up to my ear. I have some devices in my house. If I don't do that, my immune system gets compromised. I get headaches. You know, this has been verified by my doctor. I absorb radiation probably easier maybe than a majority of people, but not probably, you know, people here can testify to what their sensitivities are. That health concerns for adults that I'm talking about, for children especially, because their brains are soft and radiation goes through into their brains, is a proven fact already. And scientific information is all out there about this. This is not a hokey piece of information that you keep hearing over and over again. But I think this is kind of a natural state of what's happening here, that's happening in the world. We have technology. We want to move forward. It's a great thing, and yet there's no regulations. So things go overboard in one direction. Greed plays a big part in how that happens. And then we have people that feel the consequences of that, that want a quality of life that we actually moved to Marin for. A quality of life that we have open space land, that we don't get bombarded by technology that can be harmful or that changes our environment, that affects the children and the schools and people with immune-compromised, you know, illnesses or sensitivities. I feel so strongly about this. I haven't participated in anything, I think, since 1969, when I marched, against the war in Vietnam. And I've been doing my service in other ways. But this got me so strongly when I started hearing I wasn't going to have choice whether this was going to come to Marin, whether we're an unincorporated town or whether we're Mill Valley. I mean, we're all part of Marin. And September 26th is the deadline for the FCC, for us, for all of us. And so an emergency ordinance and paying attention to this and getting something that stops it from being random is so important for us, because after 5G comes 6G and 7G and 8G. And where does it stop? If we don't take control of this as a people, as a council, then who is going to do this? This is the same for everything that's happening in the States. We're waking up, thank God. I went to sleep for a while. I thought somebody else was going to take care of my environment or going to change some laws. And then, the good part of what has happened in the government is that it woke people up. And we realized that we have to do something ourselves as individuals. And so for me, I said, wait a minute, I am part of that, and I need to do as much as I can, because I live here. This is my home. And we need regulations around what comes in here on so many different levels. We all need to take a stand for this. And so I haven't read what you've written.
And if you can wrap up,
Sure.
you're over your time.
I haven't read what you've written to the FCC, but I ask you to consider the emergency ordinance, and I thank you for your time, and I hope we move forward easily with this. Thank you.
Good morning. Terrifying. Hi, council members. Thank you for giving us the time to be able to speak. My name's Kaya Bozy, and I'm the owner of Chi Home Designs. I provide education, analysis, and mitigation of electromagnetic radiation so that individuals and families can actually have a choice and stay protected from the proliferation of harmful EMFs. My degrees are in environmental science and education management, and I've been studying with an engineer and electrical contractor who has over 25 years of experience in EMF analysis. And the reality is RF radio frequencies and microwaves, you can't see them. You can't hear it. You can't smell it. You can't taste it. And when you feel it, I have a sensitivity to it now. When you feel it, I was actually saying it's too late, but it's actually too late before, because the genotoxic effect has actually taken place. And just because I happen to feel it doesn't mean that it's affecting you. And I use my meters. I have professional meters, so I get to watch it and I see what happens to people. So, and one of the things that just happened recently, I live in Forest Knolls, is there was a fire up on Mount Barnaby. And I was going, oh my God, I have to get set up. And I have a cell phone that's on airplane almost all the time, but I use it in emergency scenarios. And I went to Nixle or whatever it is that you're supposed to set up. And the reality was the cell service didn't work. So people want to have that as a safety backup, but the copper lines and the ground lines are actually what worked in that scenario. And so I had the experience of it. And in a place where you're putting these towers that have a history of actually starting on fire out in areas that people might not see them, and we're already prone because of climate change to fires, it seems a little more risky. And the other reality is 5G is not increasing areas, it's not increasing connection in areas, in the rural areas or anywhere in the city. It's just increasing the speed. So the cell towers have to be placed closer to homes and places where people are actually using them, because the frequency is higher, but it doesn't travel as far. Fiber optics covers all of that. So, and the other thing is with children, is that children's brains, like it's been mentioned, their skulls are really thin, their central nervous system is developing, the tissues are different, and the radiation actually penetrates the whole brain, the whole head, and it doesn't in adults. And if you look at all the safety standards that are out there that are basically non-existent on some level, is that it doesn't accompany that. 14 seconds, eh? Yeah, Mill Valley. I would look at that, definitely. Everything's really been said. I was in San Francisco real quick, and I took a reading of a 5G tower that was up, and it actually went off the charts. I was 100 feet from the tower, and people's buildings where they're sleeping were like 30 feet from this tower. I know they'll get cancer. I mean, I could make a bet with all of you that they will. And so please really consider this seriously, because the corporations are running our lives now, and I want to have choice for all of us. Thank you so much.